Hi, it's Larry again, and in this video I want to show you some of the stitches that I use to do plastic canvas needlepoint. It's very simple. There's only going to be, I think, 3 or 4 of them, and those few make up just about everything I've done so far. Now, occasionally you may have to make up a stitch because you have something strange, but these are the ones that'll get you through almost anything. So here we go. Hi, this is Larry again, and I'd like to talk about some of the stitches I use when I do plastic canvas needlepoint. So the first stitch is probably the most common one. It's known as a tent stitch or a half cross stitch. And it's very simple. All you do is you come up from one hole and then go up one to the left. So you go to the diagonal. You can, of course, do this in the other direction if you want. Now, when you start, so we want to start one down from the top, and we come up here. Now, when you start on your first stitch, leave a little bit behind. So, well, obviously, because if you didn't, it would come right through. So you see there's the first stitch. Now I'm just going to go one over, pull this through, and so that little tail is going to be sewn into my stitches. 2, 3, 4, and etc., etc. It goes on like this. Now there's another stitch which is basically the same thing except it's longer, and I've heard it called the Gobelin stitch or a satin stitch. And instead of going directly up to the left, you want to skip a hole. But first you go down here, because your row is going to be between 1, 2, and 3. And you should note now that when you end a stitch, you're going to end it where another one is. Okay, so I'm going to start right here. And I'll make a short one, like the half tent. Then the next time, I'm going to go through the next one, and I'll skip a hole and go in here. And then they'll all skip a hole, so there'll be actually 3 rows included in this. You can do this with 4 rows, 5 rows, 6 rows, basically as many as you want. You should know that if you make a really long stitch, you don't want it to be on something that people are going to handle a lot, because there's the risk that these stitches can get caught on something and start to pull out. But if it's something that's just going to hang on a wall, that's really ideal. So here we have the half tent stitch and the Gobelin stitch. Okay, I'd like to now demonstrate the cross stitch. Now, undoubtedly, you have heard the term cross stitch. And in fact, a lot of the needlepoint, not necessarily plastic canvas, but the stuff that's done on softer needlepoint canvas is often called cross stitch because it's a rather important stitch for those type of things. So, before I show you that, I want to show you how to start a new piece of yarn. Okay, you go to the back of your canvas, and there's already stuff that's stitched. You put the needle behind, say like that, and you pull it through just enough so that it's hidden. Okay, and needless to say, the first stitch you make, you have to be kind of careful so you don't pull it out. Now here's a traditional cross stitch. Now we did the half cross stitch. Whoops, you see, this is what you're not supposed to do. Okay, so there was an actual demonstration of what not to do. Okay, I'm putting it back. Now I'm going to be more careful. We're going to do the half cross stitch, which will go diagonally. And then I'm going to make another half stitch the other direction. So from the lower left to the upper right. So it formed an X. So technically this should be called the X stitch, not the cross stitch. Now, that covers a block of 4. But what I don't particularly like this for plastic canvas, but what I do like is a larger cross stitch. So we're going to consider a block of 9 here and do like a satin stitch. We're going to skip one and come up here and then come down here, bottom corner, and the upper left. So that actually looks like an X. And I find this is creates a nice decorative touch if you want to alternate different stitches. It looks very nice. So that is the cross stitch.